Every year, the NHL playoffs bring chaos. Upsets are inevitable, and it's not a question of if, it's who and how brutal the fallout will be. These aren't just losses, they're collapses, comebacks, and heartbreaks that rewrite legacies. We've seen it time and time again. The 2019 Lightning, tied for the best regular season ever, getting swept by Columbus. The 2021 Canadiens stunning the Maple Leafs. The 2012 Kings bulldozing their way to the Stanley Cup Final as an 8 seed. The 2023 Bruins, after setting the all-time record for wins and points, getting bounced in the first round by the Florida Panthers. President's Trophy winners collapse, star-studded teams fall short, and unproven goalies become legends overnight. The playoffs don't care about your regular season stats, your MVPs, or your odds that Vegas set. And this year, it feels different. The line between favorite and bottom feeder is thinner than ever, maybe even non-existent. Every safe pick has a fatal flaw, and every series feels like a trap. By the time the dust settles, hearts will be broken, brackets will be shattered, and the hockey world will be flipped on its head. This isn't just another postseason, it's going to be a bloodbath, and it's going to upset everybody. The NHL playoffs weren't just built for upsets, they're the only postseason where the upsets feel like the standard. It is the most unpredictable playoff format in all the major sports, and that's not just talk, it's in the numbers. In the NBA, first-round matchups are mostly a formality. Top seeds advance more than 80% of the time. In the NFL, you get one game. Upsets happen, sure, but the best quarterbacks and defenses usually find a way to win. The MLB, it has its fair share of surprises, but in a short series, it often comes down to who has the better pitching rotation. But in the NHL, lower seeds win around 40 to 45% of the time in the first round. That's nearly a coin flip, and once the puck drops, all those regular season stats, goal differential, possession numbers, point totals, they start to matter less and less. It comes down to a few key things. First, the goalie. No other position in sports can impact a series as much as a hot goalie can in hockey. You can outshoot a team 40 to 20 and still lose. If one guy gets in the zone, all the math breaks. Second is the randomness. The puck bounces, it deflects, it rolls on the edge. You can do everything right and still get beat by a bounce off someone's shin pads. That's just part of the game, and it only gets more volatile under playoff pressure. Third is the matchups. The regular season smooths over weaknesses. You're playing different teams every night, managing injuries, pacing yourself, but in the playoffs, you're exposed. One bad line matchup or defensive pairing can tilt an entire series. The NHL playoffs are unpredictable by design. Leads disappear fast, top seeds get exposed, and even the best teams can fall apart if their game slips for just a week. It's not bad luck, it's just how this league operates in the spring. And this year, it's shaping up to be one of the most wide open playoffs we have ever seen. There is no clear favorite, no unbeatable roster, and no path that feels safe. The gap between the top and bottom seeds is thinner than usual, and nearly every matchup looks like it could go either way. Whether it's a wildcard team with a hot goalie or a contender with a major question mark, every series feels like it's one bad bounce away from turning upside down. And if you think you can predict that, enter my free bracket challenge. The winner gets $150, and all you have to do is name your bracket after your Twitter or Instagram handle so I know who to send the cash to. This is what I threw together. I mean, it's probably already busted, but hey, that's the fun of it. So join up, just don't get too attached to your picks because, as we're about to see, nobody is safe. Let's talk contenders, because while they all have legit reasons to believe, they've all got cracks too. First, the Washington Capitals. Because they're not just back in the playoffs, they're a legit threat. They were the first team to clinch a spot this season, and they finished with 111 points. Offensively, they're explosive, second in the league in goals, and they've kept things pretty tight defensively, giving up fewer than 3 goals a game. Spencer Carberry has this team playing smart, disciplined hockey, and that consistency is what's made them so tough to beat. Logan Thompson has been a huge part of that, but there's the concern. He's dealing with an upper body injury, which means Charlie Lindgren may have to start the first round. That could be a problem, but still, with Ovechkin on the power play, Tom Wilson bringing playoff energy, and solid contributions from guys like Dubois, Chychrun, and John Carlson, this team has serious balance. If they stay locked in, Washington could make a real run. And so could Vegas. They weren't flashy this year, but they were quietly one of the most well-rounded teams in the entire league, finishing first in the Pacific with 110 points and ranking top 5 in both offense and defense. This is still very much a team built to win. Jack Eichel had a career year with 93 points and has become a true two-way force. Pavel Pavel Dorofeyev broke out with 35 goals, and Thomas Hertl bounced back with a strong, healthy season. Add in Mark Stone, who nearly averaged a point per game, and you've got depth up and down the lineup. 11 players hit double-digit goals, exactly the kind of scoring balance that won them the cup back in 2023. Adin Hill solidified the crease with over 50 starts, and the defense remains one of the strongest in the West. If they stay healthy, Vegas is absolutely in the mix. But if they want to go deep, they'll likely have to get through Colorado. The Avalanche head into the playoffs with 102 points, and while they haven't been as dominant as they were back in 2022, this might be the most complete roster they've had since that cup run. The top-end talent is still elite. Nathan MacKinnon is having another monster year, and Cale Makar continues to be one of the most dynamic defensemen in the entire league. But what really makes this team dangerous is the depth that they've added. Secondary scoring has always been their Achilles heel the past 2 seasons, but they've finally addressed it. Marty Necas has been a great fit in the top 6, and the trade deadline moves of adding Brock Nelson, Charlie Coyle, and Eric Johnson have given them real depth up front and on the back end. Mackenzie Blackwood now holds the crease, and he's been very, very solid. And then there's Gabriel Landeskog. After nearly 3 years out, he's back skating and already producing at the AHL level. If he's ready to return, even in a limited role, that's a massive boost on and off the ice to get their captain back. If their depth holds up, Colorado could quietly go on another Stanley Cup run. Now, let's talk about Toronto. With 108 points, this might be the most complete Leafs team of the Core 4 era. Matthews, Marner, Tavares, and Nylander, they're all producing, but the real difference is the depth. They're finally getting offense throughout the entire lineup. Berube's system has them playing faster and more disciplined, and defensively, they've tightened up. Their goalie tandem of Stolarz and Wall has quietly been solid all year with a combined .916 save percentage. But as always, the question is the mental side of the game. The Leafs' playoff history is a cloud that never seems to go away. But Marner put together a career year, and now he needs to be the guy when it matters. If Toronto can stay composed and finally shake the weight of their past failures, they've got themselves the roster to make a real run for the Stanley Cup. But also in the Atlantic Division is Tampa Bay, and this team feels dangerous. They led the league in goals per game, powered by a 121-point season from Nikita Kucherov. Braden Point and Jake Gensel both hit 40 goals, Brandon Hagel had 90 points, and Anthony Cirelli was elite defensively. On the back end, Victor Hedman is still logging big minutes, and bringing back Ryan McDonough and Yanni Gourde added cup-winning experience. But the biggest difference, Andrei Vasilevskiy is back in his Vezina form. He's had his best season since 2021, and it looks like he's ready to carry them all over again. If they survive that tough first-round matchup between Florida, this team has serious cup potential. And last but not least, the Edmonton Oilers. They were 1 win away from the Stanley Cup last year, pushing it to Game 7 after clawing back from 3-0. That run proved that they're not just McDavid and Draisaitl. The supporting cast stepped up, and the coaching staff made smart adjustments, and everything nearly clicked. But this season's been a bit bumpier. McDavid, Draisaitl, and Evander Kane all missed significant time with injuries, and steady defenseman Mattias Ekholm is now out for the start of the playoffs. Structurally, they're sound. They're top 10 in limiting scoring chances and high-danger shots, but goaltending has been the issue. Stuart Skinner's been shaky, posting an .894 save percentage and having the worst goals saved above expected among all playoff goalies. If Skinner holds up, the team can make another deep run. If not, the West might be a little bit too much to overcome for these Oilers. So we've gone through the contenders, the teams with the stars, the depth, the expectations, but this is the NHL playoffs. And every year, someone unexpected blows it all up. It's always a wild card, a team that sneaks in, gets hot, and suddenly knocks off a favorite. These are the underdogs, the bracket busters, the teams that ruin everyone's predictions. And this year, there's a few of them ready to do exactly that. And the most exciting one, Montreal. They weren't supposed to be here. A brutal stretch in March nearly knocked them out of the race, but they ripped off 6 straight wins and clawed their way back into the playoffs. Momentum matters a whole lot in the postseason, and Montreal has plenty of it. They were one of the best teams after the Four Nations face-off, scoring over 3 goals a game since late February, while keeping it tight defensively. Nick Suzuki led the charge with point-per-game production, Cole Caulfield hit 37 goals, and rookie Lane Hudson put up Calder-worthy numbers on the blue line. Oh, and then there's Ivan Demidov, who was already flashing something special in his first game. But the big question is always goaltending. Sam Montembeault has been solid all year and stepped up in crunch time, but he'll need to be even better to slow down Washington's firepower. Still, with nothing to lose and young talent heating up, Montreal has that classic why not us energy. Staying in the East, Ottawa enters the playoffs in a similar spot, underrated, overlooked, and hungry to prove something. Finally back in the postseason after a 7-year drought, they're diving straight into the Battle of Ontario. The Senators might be underdogs, but they're no pushover. They've been solid defensively, allowing under 3 goals a game and fewer than 30 shots a night. Linus Ullmark has been steady presence in net all season, and if he can shake off his past playoff struggles, he could be the X factor in this series. Offensively, Ottawa has the pieces. Tim Stützle had a strong year, Jake Sanderson was a force on the back end, and Brady Tkachuk, despite missing time, is expected to be back and ready to make his postseason debut. Their power play has also been heating up, which could be huge against the Leafs with a shaky penalty kill. The Sens are young, they're hungry, and they've got nothing to lose, and that makes a team very dangerous. Out west, you have the Minnesota Wild, a team that knows how to grind. Injuries forced them into survival mode most of the season, but with everyone healthy again, they're starting to look like that team that everyone expected them to be. They battled through injuries all season. Kirill Kaprizov was on pace for a career season before missing half the year. Joel Eriksson Ek, Jared Spurgeon, and Jonas Brodin all missed time too. Offensively, they struggled, bottom 10 in goals, shots, and scoring chances, but they somehow found ways to win. They played in 28 one-goal games this season and won 18 of them. That kind of experience matters in the playoffs, where tight, low-scoring games are the norm. Now that they're finally healthy, this group isn't going to be an easy knockout. And they also added Zeev Boyum, still just a rookie, but already trusted with big minutes. He's got the skating, the poise, and the vision to make an impact. Watch out for the Minnesota Wild. Rounding out the group of underdogs is the St. Louis Blues, maybe the most quietly dangerous team in this bracket. The Blues were on the outside looking in earlier this season, but everything changed after they brought in Jim Montgomery behind the bench. Since then, they've looked like a completely different team, structured, confident, and getting contributions from everywhere. That 12-game win streak in March and April didn't just push them into the playoffs. It made them one of the hottest teams in the league heading in. Their turnaround has been all about structure, especially defensively. They've tightened up and became one of the best teams in the league at limiting high-danger chances and found a rhythm at 5-on-5 that makes them tough to play against. Jordan Binnington is fresh off leading Canada to the gold at 4 Nations, and he's been locked in ever since. If he stays hot and the Blues keep buying into Montgomery's system, this is a team that could absolutely make some noise, just like they did in 2019. With so much parity this year, almost every series feels like it's up for grabs. This year's playoffs are unpredictable, and with the way some teams are surging right now, upsets aren't just possible, they feel inevitable. The only guarantee in the Stanley Cup playoffs is chaos. You could run simulations, break down matchups, and lean on stats all you want, but once the puck drops, none of it matters. Momentum swings fast, underdogs punch up, and expectations get shattered. The playoffs don't care about your predictions, and that is going to upset everyone.